So we're going to catch up with Chandra Crawford, who's making a very big announcement today about her retirement from the sport. And she's the second Canadian to win a gold medal at the Olympics 2006 in Torino, and a very big step for her at that time, and a big decision for her. She's also the founder of Fast and Female, and we're going to talk to Chandra a bit about that as well. Chandra, are you there on the other line?
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me.
Okay, well, great. So a big announcement for you, and I guess the first question is when and how did you decide to make the decision to retire?
Well, it's something that athletes always have in our minds, I think, that at some point it's not one of those careers you do forever, and that point, you never know when it's coming. I was, very sure I would go another year till Falloon, but then as the quadrennial between 2010 and 2014 wore on, it was a bit of a push just to get to Sochi, and I was happy to decide that would be my last race. So going into that, I knew that would be my last international sprint, and just was the right time for me.
Right, sure. Of course, every athlete has that decision to make, and the end of an Olympic quadrennial is usually when that happens for a number of athletes. I was watching your talk on the TED Canmore Dream Like an Olympian, and just watching you talk about the event when you crossed the line back in Torino, and obviously a very special moment in your life. And the feeling I had was that you were almost reliving it in that talk. And I guess the question is it still very vivid in your mind? And can you feel that emotion when you picture that moment in your life?
Yeah, so many race moments stand out so much, but that one I can remember really well because I do that talk all the time and I retell it so often. And it's one of the best things I can do in a presentation or when I get to meet kids, is to bring them into that feeling. That's such a unique experience, not unlike being an astronaut. Some of the time you just get to bring people into an experience that is really unique and let them know what that felt like. So that's usually a great part of it, and something that I enjoy hearing from others. I want to know what it felt like when people have their great races.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I really felt, you engaged very well when you were describing it, crossing the line, and a very special moment for you, and of course being able to share it, because a lot of people want to share that moment with you. Besides that gold, you've obviously had some other career accolades. Are there any other moments that stand out for you along the way that maybe not as special, but certainly highlights in your career that stand out for you?
Well, winning the World Cup in Canmore was really great. It was a beautiful day and everyone was cheering. Again, a lot like Torino, everything just worked out. But some really special memories to me are both from the 2010 Games and the 2014 Games. The feeling of having done my all, of being satisfied with an unimpressive result, and just knowing deep down that I did everything, I made improvements, I took what I had and did what I could, and that deep feeling of peace at the end of a race that didn't give me the results I wanted, but gave me the 10 out of 10 on the personal focus and everything I wanted to get out of it. So those have actually been really impactful. I was amazed at how satisfying it is, just knowing that was my best effort.
No, it's very, when you hear athletes talk about leaving it all out there and giving it their best, you know that's a very special part of the equation. That every athlete is also measuring themselves against themselves. So I guess that sort of answers one of the questions that I was going to ask you, if you're satisfied with your career. And it sounds like that's something that you've kind of answered, that you are happy with it. If you could change anything along the way, is there anything that when you look back, do you have any of those thoughts?
Wow, it would be hard to change things, because certainly any time that I struggled, that came to give me all these resources, and I would develop all this resilience because of it, that made me who I am, and gave me more context for when I would do well. So
sure.
I wouldn't take away any of that, that's for sure. But even more grateful and even fewer expectations. It's nice at the tail end of the career here, I realized the less that I demand from everything around me, the easier it is to flow through it and have a good event, without being quite so tough on things that I can't control. It's fine to be tough on things that are in my control, and the rest, just to expect less and then be pleasantly surprised all the time. Expect bad travel schedules, expect bad weather, expect bad food, and then prepare and just be pleasantly surprised when it works out. So I think that's one neat skill that I learned, and if I went back, I would apply that more.
Very good. Yeah, I think those are good points for people to recognize, and I've heard that from other athletes as well. It's important. Yeah. It's important to recognize that some things you can't control. So Chandra, what's the game plan going forward? Is there something you can share with us as to what's coming ahead for you?
Lots happening. Something I planned for a long time, to do more work for Fast and Female. I've been pretty deliberate in my training and not doing a ton for the organization. I'd like to roll up my sleeves and get more involved now, which is a dream come true. It's really wild to me how it's grown. I just could not have imagined how much demand there would constantly be to have the events and people embracing the cause. It was really small when we started with 50 girls in the first year, and that it just keeps growing. It keeps bouncing around where the demand is. So I think that's really an exciting thing to pursue. And I've also held off on doing any education these last 14 years, and I am excited to get into that and just expand the realms of the mind and get some school happening.
Well, that's exciting as well. Okay, is there a certain field that you're planning to explore? Or?
Looking at a bunch of different programs right now around leadership and business, things that will help me at Fast and Female.
Sure.
So just getting a handle on, what can I get into here in Canada? Take a look at the States. Can I get involved in some of the programs there? What's going to serve me the best to lead the organization? And take that time to invest in my skills, take the next 3 to 5 years and just go for that.
Sounds very, very nice. The Fast and Female, just to continue a bit there, because that is such an interesting program you started, and we've watched it grow as well, and you've gone into other sports, cycling and triathlon and other sports. And one of the questions I wanted to ask is, have you seen other programs of a similar type in other countries? We haven't heard that much. We know they exist in some places, but have you seen others of this kind? And has it sparked others to, think about it? And I guess the other part is, you've branched into the U.S. Are you thinking of possibly taking it into other countries internationally?
There are a lot of decisions to make around that, and I hope to keep everyone up to speed as we look at exactly what the direction is going to be. But the U.S. programming has been absolutely amazing, and the leadership there is great. The Scandinavians, who are really interested, have a lot of resources behind them and that whole national love of the sport, so it makes it quite a different feel over there. You're definitely not pulling teeth to get people out to the events. And similarly in the U.S., the demand and the role models are so inspiring. And in Canada, having different sports has been the approach. So I'm not totally sure. I really have to take a good look at how we will continue to be sustainable in the future, and how we will continue to run the program, and how we can make all of these different groups happy without spreading ourselves too thin. So it'll be really interesting, and we'll look at it from a leadership team view of Keegan and I, and we've got this whole board of directors of great people. So I would just have to say stay tuned. We're working on it.
Well, it's interesting to hear you talk about it, and now it sounds like you're going to have the time to invest more of Chandra Crawford. I know you've put a lot into it already, but now you'll have more time to really help steer it forward, and it's a fabulous program. Congratulations on that, and I think it augurs well for the future. So we want to thank you for spending time with us, Chandra. We want to thank you for a fabulous career and making some very special moments for all of us as a media and as fans, and wish you all the best with whatever you go forward with, and we know it's going to be successful.
Oh, that's so kind, and gosh, I'll miss everyone out on the circuit, and hope to keep in touch with a lot of the friends I've made along the way, and a lot of the sponsors as well. And SkiTrax has been so good to us, and so good to Fast and Female, and so good to the sport in North America. So keep up the great work that you guys are doing, and we'll both keep an eye on each other, keep tabs on where this is all going. But really appreciate amazing career, lots of great people, pretty cool.
Thanks so much, and we wish you all the best and look forward to the next time to chat with you.
Great. Thanks, Benjamin.